I'm moving forward every day, Jesus. I just let him lead the way every second, every minute, every hour of the day. I'm moving with Jesus every day, 24/7. With Jesus every day, 24/7. With Jesus, I'm moving with Jesus every day.
I shouldn't be alive.
Mr. and Mrs. Lewis, April 14, 2019, I imagine would go down in history for you. How do you describe looking back at that day in your entire life? Where do you put it in the category of things?
For me, was a nightmare.
When it happened, it was traumatic.
As his story goes, I shouldn't be alive. That accident in itself says the message, but even in his recovery process, that showed up again. Death came to his door. Tell us about the Code Blue experience.
Oh yes, during the therapy time, we were at the hospital because we keep moving with Dwight all where he had to go. This was the rehabilitation area. Although they said, well, he shouldn't have people, they don't allow people to sleep over. But we told them we're from Trinidad. There's nowhere else we could stay but right here in the hospital. Although Lemmy have a sister in Miami, but we didn't want it to move from his side. We wanted to be there. Being there now, you're in the room, they passing every morning, taking up Dwight around 9 to take him to therapy. The area where he takes the therapy is like how many doors away from where his room was. So he's there. I'm hearing the bell ringing in the hospital like a siren. Code blue, code blue. All nurses and doctors drop what they're doing and go into that direction. I'm there in the room sitting. When I came out by the door, watching the action, only to know was Dwight they were going after because he was passing away.
Passing out.
He was passing out. Most of the time when his pressure drops so low, so he knocks out and they have to work on him. So it was Dwight. When the nurse came back to the room telling me it was Dwight, they had the code blue about. I was really shocked to know I'm sitting there and he's right there. I would not have even known what had happened.
The thing about it is, even though we are human beings and we think we know about our bodies, it's only during these type of emergencies that you really understand that you don't even have the foggiest idea what your body does. With him, he could have lied parallel. Anytime they try to elevate him, his pressure will drop. So they would have to bring him right back down to get the pressure to elevate as quickly as possible. And that's only when you see him catch back himself. And it kept doing that for a while, because every time they carry him for therapy, no problem, he will lie flat and do all his exercises. But the minute they start to tilt the bed, his head you'll just see him, his eyes start to dilate, and he looked like and you see his body just getting limp. And they have all these instruments on him that check his blood rate, his pressure, this, everything. So they say, hey, drop in it, 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 drop it. You see everybody come, carry him back. Then they say, all right, that's enough for the day. They'll think, and next day you see they try and see if they could get him up a little higher.
They were giving him about 21 tablets
Tablets to take.
every
Every day.
day. He was taking a lot of tablets. When it started reducing, I felt good about that, because it went down and down and down until he only had to be taking about 3 different tablets. Now, I don't even think he on any of them at this time, so we thank God for that again.
Definitely could have been worse. I didn't have to be here. I used to tell you that. I think it had, about a year later, there was an incident, I think, that happened. It was in Trinidad as well, where a young doctor, I think, fell, and apparently about the same height, and he didn't make it. So even with that, I have to be grateful for just being here, because I didn't really have to be here.
My dad always told us that when things happen, you don't look back at it. You go forward. So it happened, and basically you leave it there. Anniversaries and that kind of stuff, to say, well, every time I'm going to be looking back at my son, something happened to him on the 14th of April, don't cross my mind. All I know is that Easter come, and around that time something happened. And that's how I process it, basically. Because anytime you go to reflect on it will bring too much trauma, and
Feel like you're reliving.
you feel, you might get angry, you might want to know why or what, and that kind of stuff.
One time I remember with my dad as well, he'll discipline you on certain things. But he is like, when something happens, like it done happen already. You just have to go forward. So the discipline was before. Can't do anything after that. So after, you just have to live and go about with the experience that you had.
I thank God for the strength that He has given me today to really talk about His goodness throughout this incident. His goodness. God has been good to us as a family. God has provided for us, and we don't really understand that. We have nothing to fear, really. My dad always say that, except we forget the way in which the Lord had led us in the past. And everybody know my dad will know that deceased father of mine, he was all about our Christian walk and our Christian pathway. And I think that really go through the descendants of us.
So there where I think everything stems from, my upbringing in the church, my upbringing with the parents that live a certain life as well, which I'm grateful for. And I can tell you, maybe 2 weeks before not 2 weeks, a month before the incident, we were worshiping as a family, my brother and everyone was in country, and we were just thanking my parents as well for all that they had done for us, and the teachings that they gave us, and was grateful that we really never had some major incident. So in that was a great now seeing is that a test is a test on the field, and I'm grateful that they never faltered. They always stayed and stick with me. So, yeah.
Let go with your arms. This is what I want you to do. Can we do that or no? Or you just want to focus? keep you a little warm while it's eating. He's crammed. He's crammed up there.
How do you feel, Dwight?
Good. I'm good. I just look at her.
Stand up, bro. Look what you did.
I know.
That's so far. Yeah, good. Whoa, nice, good. Good. Breathe in my hand. Good. Breathe in. Good. Breathe in. There. Push my hand away. Push it away. Push it away. There it is. Nice.
After has really brought me even closer, because it started off, they say once a man, twice a child. And to have your sister taking care, having to change you, your brother having to beat and change you, and they doing it with a smile on their face, no matter how bad you're smelling. In this whole ordeal, is what way they have not been a help. In every facet, they, from top to bottom, from left to right, and been so supportive, caring, love. I've been very gracious. I think I've been graced by them, blessed by them, and I think they said sometimes you can't choose your parents. That is what you've been given, and we have. And I have to say I'm really grateful for having them. And it's not just what or how I've been brought up by them, but the example, how they live, has been a testament on how I can even embrace this injury and live through it. So with that, the parents that I have, I'm so, and I should mention Sita and Arnold Lewis. Definitely thank them, I love them, and I'm so grateful that God has blessed me with them. So yeah, can't complain, can't do anything but be grateful and thankful for them.
We have been impressed ourselves by Dwight's own attitude, that he has exhibited. He credits it to having parents. We see where it is coming from now. And thank God for godly parents like yourself, who have really laid a good foundation for your children. What advice then would you give to parents out there who might have children in one crisis or another, and they have to deal with that? What advice would you give to parents?
One I will give to parents is do not blame. You see, the blame game is something that it's not good, basically. It's not healthy for somebody that's trying to regain themselves from what they were. I have, or at least we have never really sat down and questioned Dwight as to what it was, what happened, what it is. We have never tried for him to recall it. So we took him from where he was and we moved forward. We try our utmost best not even to mention that this is what, if any day he wants to really speak about it, you try to make it positive. Everything has to be positive, so you keep going. I think parents make a big mistake trying to tell children, you shouldn't this, you shouldn't that. It's because of this or because of that.
True.
The thing about it is keep the child's mind positive. He made a mistake, you forget it. Because you can't do anything after what happens. You have to proceed, you have to go forward. He already got what he got into it. I'm not going to help him remember it.
Wow.
Try and forget that and keep pushing forward.
And I can't help but seeing the example of Jesus. I can't help but seeing the example of Jesus in what you are saying here. Isn't that how, God operates with us? You have chosen to not go back into how you got there. The blame game, as you said, you take it from there and move positively to a new experience. And God does that for us, isn't it? That when we come to Him as sinners, He doesn't go back to reap up and rehash, how we got into that sinful condition. He gives us a new journey.
As you say that, Pastor, what I could recall during this, folks, some of our good Christian Seventh-day Adventist folks asking questions like, did he know what he took? I could not have even answered that because we didn't even ask him that. I didn't ask him that question. They ask the thing, they call in and saying they want to get it from the head of the fountain. You are the mother. Imagine I'm in the hospital trying to process this thing myself. You calling me on the phone to know if I know exactly what happened that night. 3-4 years passing, we don't know, we did not question detail of that incident, and I will never question the detail.
It's not the important factor.
It's not really important. Seeing him through it, assisting him to heal him, that's why he talks so well about us as parents. He is happy to have parents like us, because that, when I look at him and seeing the courage, we couldn't cry in front of him. I couldn't. If even my heart was aching in different times. But no, I want to give him all the courage that he already have to go through this, because big, tall, strong, strapped out there, living, and just this collapse. You can't walk. You know what is that? I think that was enough for him than applying more pressure on the injury at that time.
Praise
So
God.
that's why we
Praise
did.
God. You really have exemplified some sterling virtues there that parents can take and can also apply in their own parenting, just as Jesus. How you got into the sin is not important. How we lead you out from here and move forward with you is going to be what the journey would be. And so, although Dwight is not walking yet, you continue to see miracles happen.
Yes, and we know the ultimate miracle is some way forthcoming. It is in the picture.
He's on his way from where he started to where he has reached. And that is the thing that gives you the hope.
Yes.
Because when you know Dwight started where he could not even sit up.
True.
He could not even sit up. For him to sit up, he would have to take pills and had to be at that angle leading up to where he has arrived now, where he doing anything like if nothing went wrong. Yeah, so
That's a miracle.
that's a miracle,
Only miracle.
and it keeps us keeps us believing, keeps us believing. There is only one person, God, nobody else.
Yes. So, as such parents, there are other parents out there who would be trying their best, I imagine, to stand by their children, and the children might not be as receptive to what they are being given. What counsel would you give to children in that regard for the blessing of having good, godly Christian parents like yourselves who are giving like Jesus to their children? What counsel would you give to the children?
As for the children, I would say, honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. You should always listen to your parent. Be obedient. Obedient is heaven's first law. Yes,
Yeah,
you should always be.
I would tell them to don't always think that what your parents advise you to do, that they mean bad for you. The thing about it is we tend to think when we're young growing up that they don't want us to be in this or they don't want us to be in that. It just takes a simple action to destroy your life, basically destroy yourself for life. So I would tell you, I would advise young people, listen, understand, and take the advice that is meted out to you. Because no parent ever means ill for their children. Sometimes we may disregard, but always turn back. And that's one thing I'll tell anybody about my children, is that even though we may have fallen out, the sun basically don't set without you trying to straighten it out. Dwight, very nice child to be with, a very nice child to grow up, but he was strong-headed. He had a lot of things that that we had to work out. Sometimes he didn't like how I used to handle it. He didn't like how sometimes his mother, he will up to this day tell you his mother would come and pray and put her hand over his head and that kind of stuff. So then things, I remember during the school time, they would have these school bazaars and things, and we tell Dwight, you're not going. Dwight will find a way to go. But in between, he gonna try and see how quick he could come back before we realize we're missing him. Yes, the other Christmas, I could always remember this Christmas. This Christmas, everybody gone to bed and things. Zita does get up and check. So Zita got up and went to check on the boys in the room, only to find the room empty. The two boys scaled the window, and the friends outside, well, it's Christmas, they parang in, so they gone parang in with the group. And so happened that a gentleman from lower down in the village came up and picked up some friends that were around there, and all of them head to the beach. So they went and have the nice time, they parang, and they're in the beach. Zita, let's go. I said, what are you going to look for? The boys gone wherever they are to thing. And she take that. She walk around the corner to go by the adopted grandfather, Brother Mac. So she and Brother Mac now all about looking for these little youths and them and the thing. The same time they're driving in with the vehicle. So they observe Zita and Brother Mac walking up the hill, and they drive straight. then the guy had to drive straight on the road. And thing afterwards, they come back, the coast clear, so they come in, man, and they slip in the road and come and lie down like if they there whole night. Say, Dwighty, all your, take it easy. Why you, daddy need friends on them, call us, so I say, all right, you're young. So I'll go tell you again.
And so all of that shows it's not a pretense of
It's
perfection.
not no perfection.
You're real
nothing.
people, real
Yes.
parents with real children,
real children
but you were
doing-
still able to apply the principles of God and the Bible,
Yeah.
and develop something beautifully in your home.
So the status on the legs is they don't tell you anything to give you any false hope or unlike doctors. And with that, they would, and I think it's more managing of expectation as well too, because they don't want you to get home where you're thinking that you'll be getting your use of your legs and it doesn't happen within that point. They can't tell, and they don't work on the spinal cord. But I can tell you for sure what I have seen. Most persons, you can't use your legs, and even in the beginning of the injury for me, I went down, my legs got really skinny. To now where I have some muscle to, and it looks like if my leg is back to almost normal. I could tell the muscle is not really fully there, but how skinny it was before, and now it's totally different. So, and I'm just grateful for the little things. You're just counting small blessings, and you don't know. It comes, you mightn't see, or you mightn't be able to tell exactly what it is, but you just count. Yeah, just continue counting. So they never give you more than you can bear. And I was able to, I'm still working through it. I could say I remember when it did happen. Just the beginning of that year, I just started back to in the gym, trying to work back out and get back in shape. But I was falling out a little bit. So at that point, I think I was like 240 pounds. And going to the gym, I started this one exercise what a guy started showing me, a rotator cuff exercise, fine muscle. And apparently when I did start my rehab, one of the first exercise they gave me to do was that. And I was like, my God alone was where that they were saying that is one of the fine muscles that you need to have, especially being in the wheelchair and having to push and stuff like that. So that alone shows where, to me, it was like a light that, hey, you can do this, you can make it. And it's not about going back to why and how, why not? So the lesson here, most of all, love. Because of that love from the Father, God, which saved me, love from my parents, which are here supporting, love from friends, love from other family. It just shows that's what I can take out of that, which helped me right through. So whether just by His love, for God so loved the world that He said, give His only begotten Son, whosoever believeth in Him shall not perish. I didn't perish at that point. So I'm grateful there. Love, support of my parents, which is house fixing up, whether it's just helping, their love for me, that's in the caring and everything like that. of my siblings and everyone. All that love is just have me here today as well, and I see it and feel it. So I'm grateful, really grateful, and the biggest lesson from this entire thing.
It is God Himself who is the author and sustainer of life. And the Bible teaches us that even when the enemy steps in and means a thing for evil, God has the power to turn it around for good. The Lewis family has experienced God's good out of tragedy. And for Dwight Lewis, his story that says, I shouldn't be alive, based on his accident, also says that by the grace of God, I am alive because of God's love. God is able to turn things around for you too, just as He has done for Dwight and the Lewis family. May God bless you as you continue to trust Him and in His grace for greater things in your life. Until next time, I'm Pastor Kishford Frank from all of us at JC 24/7. God bless you real good.